What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 4, Service. And I'm back in this location again for the first time in a while. Probably will be here tomorrow as well, but anyway, just feels kind of weird to be filming here again. I don't know. It's kind of nostalgic, even though, it's not like I've never been here before, but anyway. But yeah, so Walking Dead, really, really good episode tonight. What I really like what they're doing with this season is they're really showing Negan and just really building him up to be probably the biggest villain that the show has ever had. And it's not just, oh, he's a bad guy or anything like that. He's got so much going for him. It's beyond just the evil part of him. It's beyond just the badass part of him. It's the entire package. He's evil, he's badass, he's funny, he's charming, he's got a lot of charisma. It's really hard to it's hard to completely hate this guy. Because there's just that side of him that just makes me laugh. I've never watched a show and felt such a mixture of hilarity and anxiety in one character. Because one moment he's cracking a joke and I'm laughing at it, and at the same time I'm thinking if something goes wrong, somebody could die by this character. It's such a unique mixture that I don't think I've ever experienced before with a character. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And say what you will about the first episode, I think that just set him up to be such a great villain. Because it went beyond just the two brutal killings. It went beyond just the psychological warfare going on. It set him up to just be this really charismatic villain that you want to hate because of what he's done. You want to hate him completely and just be like, this guy sucks. And then he turns on the smile and just cracks a joke that is actually funny. Just like, crap. Now I don't hate you as much. It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan absolutely nails it every single episode, and I'm loving it so far. So yeah, let's talk about the episode though. We have pretty much Negan shows up earlier than expected, obviously to throw them off. If he shows up exactly when he says, well, they have time to prepare, they have time to get everything ready, possibly time to plan. So I like that. It's more psychological warfare. It's more of I'm keeping you on your toes, so you're not just knowing exactly what I'm gonna do. And then steps in, starts taking everything. He said, I'm gonna take half of your shit, and then he starts taking all of it. So it's just kind of like, once again, throwing that psychological warfare out there, making them think one thing, doing something completely different, but asserting dominance over them. I really like the psychological stuff this season. I mean, I talked about it a bit last season, how it was less of a survival show and more of a psychological, how do you survive? Do you just kill people? Do you not kill people? Do you kill walkers? Do you not kill walkers? Do you take stuff from other people? Do you work with other people? How are you going to survive? That has now kind of taken a back seat to just the psychological warfare of what Negan is doing, and really throwing them off. Making them. It's obvious he's already broken Rick down. I mean, throughout this entire episode, you see he's just constantly pushing Rick, and he wants Rick to react. He wants Rick to swing Lucille at him. He's waiting for it because he wants Rick to see, I'm doing all of this. I mean, the line about the dick in your throat, I mean, that was pretty much exactly what happened. He was just constantly throwing all of this in his face. He comes in, keeps talking about Maggie. They pretend like Maggie is dead, which I'll be interested to see why they decided to do that. I guess to protect her because, I don't know, I guess she was kind of vulnerable. But they pretend like she's dead. Father Gabriel digs a fake grave for her, and he just starts making all of these jokes about her. Like really awful jokes about, oh, widows, they're the best ones. I would have taken her, I would have had my way with her, right in front of Rick. And you're just sitting there waiting for Rick to say something. Just not even react with Lucille, just say anything. As soon as he says something, I know Negan's going to come back at him. I know Negan's going to shut him down. But Rick doesn't say anything. And it's kind of a question at this point of, is Rick actually just going to take it? Is he actually broken down so far where he's just like, I'm just gonna have to deal with it? he's a dick, he's being awful about all of it, but you know what? I'm going to take it. Or is it he's taking it for now because he knows, I mean, like he says at the end, they don't have the manpower. They don't have the ability to fight back. So is he just taking it for now, or is he actually taking it all because he's broken? He doesn't have the will to fight back. Because I think that's the biggest question going forward. We see, Michonne, Rosita, Carl, um, even to some extent Spencer, but I'm going to talk about him in a second. We see that they have the will to fight back. They want to fight back. Rick, I'm not really sure if he does. Because even if he did have the will, like he says, they don't have the manpower, so even now fighting back would result in them, pretty much everybody dying. And so he's trying to avoid that. But I don't know if that's because he sees that or if it's because he actually doesn't want to fight back. I'll be interested to see going forward exactly how he feels because, even Negan says in this one, they got the videotape of him talking at the beginning that recorded that little section of questioning everybody in Rick's group. And Negan even says, see, that guy, I'd be scared to go against that guy. But you're not that guy anymore, are you, Rick? Is he? Who knows? Does he still have that guy somewhere deep inside of him? Or is he completely just abolished that, trying to live a different life? Who knows? I'm excited to see. I can't wait to see where they're going with that. So, on to some of the other characters. We see Carl in this one stand up to one of the saviors. Guy's coming in, taking everything. He says, they said they were going to take half our stuff. He's taking all of it. Really standing up to Negan. And of course, as we've seen with Negan, he doesn't mind people standing up to him. What he does mind is people fighting back. And, we've seen with Daryl, he wants to use that. He wants to use the fight that Daryl has. With Carl, I think he's going to see the same thing. He's not going to want to kill Carl, but he is going to want to use the fight that Carl has. So I'll be interested to see where that's going because, kind of an intense moment. With Michonne, we see her leaving early on in the episode to go practice with the sniper rifle. Manages to miss the walker completely several times, so we see that she's working on it. Who knows, maybe she just thinks the best thing to do is to work with the sniper rifle because that's the best chance you're going to have at Negan is to get him from afar. But does bring back food because of one of her missed shots actually hit a deer, so that was fortunate. But once she gets back, though, Rick sees her, knows that she has a sniper rifle that wasn't on the list, and so brings it to Negan kind of as a sign of good faith. Here, this wasn't even on our list, but here you go. You can have this one. So, once again, is that Rick trying to play the system, trying to make Negan think, oh, look, you have everything now. Even the things that you didn't know about, you have that too. Or is this Rick just thinking, this would be bad if he found this later, so I'm going to let him have this because I don't want anybody to die because of it. So, not really sure where his mind is, but once again, we'll see where it's going. On to Rosita and Spencer. We see them outside of the walls. We see Rosita definitely wants to fight back. And if it were not for the fact that she saw what happened to Glenn and Abraham, probably would have said something. Even the very first scene, this one, where Negan says, nobody look at Daryl, and she continues to look at him for a few more seconds before finally looking at Negan and walking away. It's like she really wants to do something about it, but she knows she's not in the position to, so she's playing it smart and just waiting for her opportunity. So she and Spencer go out to get a gun, find somewhere out there, but ultimately Dwight sends her on a mission to go get Daryl's bike. And while she's out there, she of course gets a gun from one of the walkers. She and Spencer have a little fight about Spencer saying, look, this is our life now, we need to accept it. Rosita says, no, we can live better. At the end of it, we see Spencer, first of all, has a little altercation with Rick because he hid the guns. Rick's pretty much blows up on him and says, look, Olivia almost died because of this. You need to make sure you don't do this anymore. And of course, Spencer, who never really liked Rick to begin with, spouts off on him. And I'm like, Rick, deal with him, please. To be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Spencer. It's nothing wrong with him in particular. It's just his character has kind of taken this little selfish turn. And he's never really found his redemption. You know, he's kind of been this standoffish person who doesn't want to be a part of the group, who's taking stuff for himself. And it's just, I don't know, something about him just kind of stands out to me. It's like, I want somebody to put him in his place. And of course, it could have something to do, you know, the guy that's playing Spencer is dating one of my celebrity crushes, and then Spencer in the show is with Rosita, so it's like, you know, the guy's lucky is what I'm trying to say. But no, I'm just kidding. That has nothing to do with why I don't like his character. It's just his character really is starting to grate on my nerves a little bit because it feels like he's just kind of going back and forth. You know, one second he's like, we should have taken the deal when we had the chance. We should, and then the next second he's like, you're right, Rosita. We should fight back. We should. Just, dude, pick a side. You can't just keep flip flopping back and forth. You can't keep looking out for yourself. Eventually, you're gonna have to man up and say, I need some help. I need to work with somebody else if I want to survive this. So we'll see where his character storyline's going. But as far as Rosita, she finds the bullet from one of the guns that Negan fired, and then of course goes to Eugene. And now we're getting the storyline that Eugene was talking about last season. You know, the whole making bullets thing. So interested to see where that's going to go. The final thing to talk about is, I think, the biggest thing that happened this entire episode. Shockingly, the biggest thing. The final scene where Rick's talking to Michonne. Michonne is not happy. Rick drops a huge bomb and says, Judith is not my baby. Which, of course, kind of took me aback for a second, because it was just sort of like, oh, that sort of came out of nowhere. And it does make sense in the context of the scene, but as far as like a story bomb that just got dropped, it's like, okay, there you go. In case anybody was still wondering, in case you still had that thought in your mind, like, oh, is Judith actually Shane's or is she Rick's? Who is anybody still questioning that? Because honestly, I hadn't even thought about it in a couple seasons. You know, I just kind of put that to the back of my mind. I was like, okay, that's not as important anymore. All of a sudden, he just brings it up. He knows that it's Shane's baby. Just like, okay. Because he started talking about Shane for a second. Like, where's he going with this? And then Judith's not my baby. I'm like, oh, that's where you're going with this. And I love the metaphor that he used for that. You know, because he said at some point, I just had to man up and say, she's not mine, but I'm going to treat her like she's mine. And just using that as a metaphor, he has to treat this situation as the same way. This isn't the situation that he wants. This isn't the situation that he thinks is best, but he's going to accept it because it's the reality for now. And once again, he says for now. I think he says for now. But it's kind of a question of, once again, is he just accepting this how it is because this is the hand they've been dealt? This is what they have to do to survive for right now? And is he thinking, okay, in the future, if there comes an opportunity where I have the chance, you know, to deal with the situation, is that his thinking? I'm very curious to find out about that. But yeah, so many good moments in this episode. I mean, several moments of just intensity, you know, because even though I don't feel like they're going to kill off any main characters in the 4th episode of the season, it's still kind of scary to think that some of these side characters could die too. You know, like, what if Spencer died? I'm not a big fan of his right now, but what if they just brutally killed him? What if they brutally killed Olivia? I don't even really know her, but just seeing her like breaking down because there are 2 guns missing out of what's it called? Not the infirmary. The armory, I guess is the best word for it. She's like breaking down and just bawling because there are 2 guns missing and there's the danger of her life. And it's just kind of sad. I'm just like, I don't even really know you that well. I've seen you around Alexandria before, but I don't even know her character that well. And yet, I don't want to see her die right now because it's really sad. So, it's just this very, it's kind of scary, especially those moments where Negan has his back turned and you just see Rick like gripping Lucille a little bit harder. And it's just like, Rick, if you're gonna do it, please finish him off. You know, if you're going to go for it, you just have to kill him. You can't go halfway. You can't like swing and then stop. You can't hit him once and then stop. You have to just finish him right there, because if you don't, it's not going to end well. Um, I don't know. I feel like I don't know anything about the comics, so I don't know what happens to Negan. I don't know if he's still alive or if he's dead in the comics. But personally, I feel like I would love to see Maggie get the final blow on Negan. I know everybody's like, oh, I want to see Rick take Lucille to his head. I feel like Maggie should be the one to kill him, just because after all was said and done, after everything that happened, after Abraham died, after Glenn died, she's the one that stands up and say, we all need to get ready to fight. I love that about her character. I think she's such a strong character. I want to see her get that final word in on Negan. I want to see her be the one that upsets Negan, that overthrows Negan. As nice as it would be to see Rick kind of stand up to Negan and sort of take him on, I want to see Maggie get that revenge, because that would just be so sweet. But anyway, who knows what they're going to do? I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. It's a really good season so far. Last season, it was iffy at times. There were moments where I'm just like, okay, what are they trying to do? There were some episodes that felt maybe a little bit slower and felt kind of like unfocused. Like they weren't really sure what they wanted to focus on, what they wanted to talk about. This season so far, it's felt very focused. It's felt like they know exactly what they want to do, and they're doing a really good job with it. And it's really exciting so far. From the first one with all the intensity, all the psychological stuff going on, to the second one where you've got the introduction to the kingdom, you get a little bit more lighthearted just to take the ease off the first episode. Last episode to show Daryl trying to be broken down but unwilling to be broken down. We see, that's one thing I forgot to mention, we see Daryl in this one has a chance to come back to Alexandria, possibly, if he pleads his case, which I'm sure Negan wanted him to admit I'm Negan or something like that, pretty much show that he'd been broken down. But Daryl, even with the promise of coming back to Alexandria, still says no, because he will not play along with Negan. He will not give in to what Negan's trying to do. And I think Negan really respects that. And it's kind of funny, because for a guy who hates being stood up to, and for a guy who hates when people don't follow his orders, at the same time, I think Daryl's a special case for him, because he sees something in Daryl that I don't think he's seen in any other character or any other person before. Like this is all a show. It's not real. Sometimes I have to remind myself that, because at times the emotions are really there. But it's all really good right now. It's building up really well. The intensity is kind of getting to me, but I don't know. I don't know where it's all going. But next episode, we'll see what's going to happen. Looks like a bit more Hilltop involved. Also, we see Carl and Enid a bit more involved with them too. So who knows where it's going? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Who do you think is going to get the final blow on Negan? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Walking Dead reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.